Hey everybody, it is college football preview time. You can see the sun is out, so we're at a barbecue. That's right, a barbecue.
Why are you doing this?
And the first dum-dum to call it a cookout in the comments.
It's not a barbecue.
I don't know if you get a prize, but I'm excited to see it. Today we're talking the Pac-12. That guy is Ryan. I'm Dan. He's drinking water, I'm drinking beer. Ryan, what is your big story of the Pac-12 season?
So USC, UCLA never have seemed to be good at the same time in recent memory.
No.
This year they both could be preseason top 10 teams.
They could be?
I don't exactly know what that means. It could mean that both of them are in for major disappointments. It could be that, that is a game that has major playoff implications. But I think it'll be very interesting to see what it's like to have the LA rivalry be what so many coaches have told us it was going to be for what seems like decades now. Very exciting to see. UCLA really only has one key part to replace.
Right.
Unfortunately, that part is quarterback.
Yes, it is.
And whereas USC has their quarterback situation in place, I know you have some negative things to say about how that particular position has played out for USC.
No, Cody Kessler was very good last season against really good teams, not the best.
Right.
I would be much more concerned about USC's defensive front at this point and how thin it looks after the loss of Leonard Williams. To me, and my point, my story is probably along the same lines, but I'm going to include Oregon in this and UCLA, two teams that bring back so much talent, particularly on offense, but we have contenders without quarterbacks. We don't know who the quarterback for Oregon is going to be. If it's going to be that transfer, if it's going to be somebody in-house, whoever wins that job out is certainly going to have all sorts of options all over the field and a relatively experienced offensive line and will be tasked. And the same goes for UCLA. I believe Paul Perkins led the conference in rushing last year, where they just have to not screw up. Just have to keep drives moving, make sure that 3rd and 4 goes for 7 yards, those kinds of things.
UCLA also has to develop that thing where a game starts going wrong and you say, okay, we're fixing these 3 things and now it's fine. They have a tendency to fishtail and steer totally the wrong way.
Yeah, we could have 2 top 10 quarterbacks who have not played a snap in top 10 teams with quarterbacks with no snaps to their name.
Whoops.
So interesting. All right, to you, who's a riser in the conference from where they were last year?
I mean, by definition, Colorado doesn't have a lot to do but go up. But I think there's reason to believe they will.
They had games they could have won last year against good teams.
They lost a ton of close games last year. They also have a pretty manageable non-conference schedule. They bring back something like 16 returning starters.
They've sort of overhauled their defense.
It's not a team that you necessarily say, oh, they're going to win 9 games. But I think, can they win 3 games in conference, which would be a major improvement for this team? Maybe so.
A realm of possibility.
Yeah, and just the fact that they are doing that thing where early in a new coach's career, you get blown out.
Yes.
Mid new coach's career,
you're feisty
start
and competitive.
losing close games.
Yeah.
I think they're now to that point where they're going to start winning those close games.
Fair enough. My riser, and I went back and forth in this because of their schedule, Cal Bears. Another one of those teams that was in a lot of good games. Cal and Colorado both in that UCLA game to the end. I like Jared Goff a whole lot. I think he might be the best quarterback in the conference. I like the offense that they built around him. I like Art Kaufman and what he's been able to do in the past now that Cal actually has players that are healthy with 2 arms and 2 legs and heads, all that good stuff. It's going to be a defense that might even be average. And that's...
look out.
Look out. But I think Cal does have the opportunity. The schedule isn't ideal. I believe they go to Stanford, they go to Oregon. But I want to say that they're going to take strides in that early Texas game. I think is going to say a lot about where the Bears are at. What is a name that you feel like people should know that perhaps isn't?
Before we do that,
should we give them?
Before we do that, can we get some hot dogs?
Let's do that. Here.
Thank you. Jordan Villeman, Oregon State wide receiver, had a very nice year last year. Had over 500 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. He's a guy he's tall. He's not afraid to make catches over the middle. He's very good at locating the ball in space. Shakes off contact. Oregon State certainly has some questions about what they're going to do. Oh, look at this.
That looks beautiful.
Service
nice and
charred.
Yeah.
But I think he's the kind of receiver whoever their new quarterback ends up being, is going to be a nice sort of safety blanket for that player. Absolutely.
And Mike Riley, of course, gone, but has always done a fantastic job recruiting and unearthing really. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
We're going to dress these up. Unearthing those wide receivers who go from 2-3 stars to really productive players in a tough conference. The name that I have here, and there was a lot of names that I really like in this conference that, I'd love to talk about Scooby Wright all show long.
Who wouldn't?
I'm going to go with Hunter Dimick, excuse me, for Utah, the defensive end. Utah has done a really good job. The Pac-12 in general in recent years, developing defensive linemen. We saw Kaha and Leonard Williams, all these guys. Nate Orchard last year for the Utes. I think if they're going to be good this year with what they lose on both sides of the ball, which isn't a ton, they return a lot, but the schedule's going to be difficult. If they can continue to get to the quarterback like they did last season, they're going to be unpleasant, and that is an adjective that I think they would love to have. And he is that good, and he is up there with the best tackles for losses and sacks guys in the league. I love him a lot. To you, what is a game that you've circled or you think will decide the conference, something that'll be fun? I'm going mustard.
I'm going to go ketchup just to bother you.
Wait, that's so dumb.
You harassed the viewer by calling it a barbecue. I'm going to harass you by putting ketchup on. My game gotta be Territorial Cup.
Ooh, that feels good.
Arizona.
Wow, really?
Arizona State was an interesting, if unexpected, race for the Pac-12 South last year. I think there's a good chance it could happen again this year.
Yeah.
Two coaches who have done such a good job taking programs that were kind of just stuck in that boring, mediocre phase and making them nationally exciting programs once again. So that's the one I'm looking forward to at the end of the year. Either way, it's a game that has major implications for how those fans look at that season and say, was it a success or not?
Yeah, my game is going to be UCLA, Arizona, which is always a weird one. This is, I think, in September. It's early on in the season. And, a couple of years ago, that was sort of Miles Jack's coming out party. Last year was ugly.
Yep.
It was stupendously bad.
Yep.
It was low-quality football. But this year, I feel like with a new Solomon back, with everything UCLA returns, we'll have a better idea of either Jerry Neuheisel or Josh Rosen for UCLA at this point in the season. UCLA, really, on both sides of the ball, they are built to win this conference. But you know what? As Arizona, they were a game away from doing it last year. So I think it's going to be high-quality football. There's too much talent on the field not to really get an entertaining product out of this one. And honestly, Pac-12 South, it's every week. It's just going to be head-on-head. So I'm excited for that. To you, who falls in the conference from where they were last year?
I hate to do this.
I know.
I hate to do this to you.
Do it, please.
I'm going to say Oregon.
Okay.
I just think this is a program that has won at least 10 games for the last 7 seasons. Alabama's the only other team in the nation that's done that. And at some point, you have your down year.
Right.
I think losing quite possibly the best quarterback in school history is a good time for that to happen, especially with that tough road game against Michigan State early. Then you've got a kind of backloaded schedule with Arizona State, Stanford, USC, Cal. Those are all late games. I think there's a chance that, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Oregon is going to be a garbage team. Could it be an 8-win season? Maybe so.
It very much could be. The counterpoint to that would be the Pac-12 North is still very much beneath the South. So it is nice to be there at this point. My faller at this point, Washington. I'm going to go with Washington. They didn't have a good year last year. I think it could get even uglier this year. They could be starting a redshirt freshman. It could be Lindquist, could be a redshirt freshman. With what they lost on defense, everyone in the front. Pretty much everybody in that front. Defensively, they lose John Ross, who was the sort of two-way player in returns. He gets hurt in spring. I just think there's a talent void at this point. I think Chris Peterson's going to be very good for Washington. If they give him time, if they give him patience, like Washington fans are known to do. I think they're going to be good. I think this year could be like a 4-8 year for the Huskies, honestly.
If it is, just do what Huskies fans do. Blame it on Ty Willingham.
Blame it on Ty Willingham. Blame it on Gilby. At this point in our episode, we're just going to eat grilled meats because that's what we're here really to do. Thank you for watching. Oh, God, that's so stupid. We'll see you soon. Don't put ketchup on your hot dogs, people. Don't do it.